Just doing one more OSA check back here. Just make sure everything is sounding good. Now that we've rearranged some cables, verifying nothing got swapped around. Thank you.
lot better. everybody. The trip was nice, and the job they've done is fantastic. And this is what you need. And Ron worked beautifully with Christie and all of the people at Homeland Security and got it done in how many days, Ron?
8 days, a new facility was up and running. So,
and is this a model going forward, Mr. President?
It can be. I mean, you don't always have land so beautiful and so secure. We have a lot of bodyguards and a lot of cops that are in the form of alligators. You don't have to pay them so much. But I wouldn't want to run through the Everglades for long. It will keep people where they're supposed to be. This is a very important thing. We're setting records at the board. You know, we had no people come through last month. Zero, no people. But we're going to keep it that way. So Ron did great, and I want to thank you.
Well, look, we thank you, Mr. President. Thanks for your leadership. The border, you did that quicker than we knew you'd do it, but you did it so quick, which is great. But Biden let in how many millions, and you got to take care of them. And so this is one example of state operating this. The feds are approving it, supporting it. We're also going to have 2,000 more at Camp Blanding, which is our National Guard site. And we're the only state in the country that mandates our state and locals, law enforcement, to cooperate with ICE. And it's made a huge difference. On any given day, Florida constitutes about 20% of all immigration arrests nationwide. So what I would just say is, don't let Florida be the only state. We've got very red states that should be doing this just as much as Florida's doing. That will increase their numbers. And then what happens is you'll have a lot of people that will deport on their own because they don't want to end up in an Alligator Alcatraz or some of those other places. So I think this is a model, but we need other states to step up.
I was going to ask you, would this be enticing for other states to come up with their own model?
They are doing it. We have Louisiana doing it big. Alabama's doing it. We have a lot of states. They seem to be red states. There are not too many blue states for whatever reason. You know, it's but the red states, Republican-run states, are doing it. The blue states don't do very well at security and policing, unfortunately. What would you say, Kristen?
You know, I would say that exactly right. The governor here has been fantastic in forming this partnership with the Department of Homeland Security. We were looking at different contracts with different vendors and thought, why not go straight to our governors and ask them to help us solve this problem? Florida was unique in what they presented to us, and I would ask every other governor to do the exact same thing. This is unique because we can hold individuals here, they can have their hearings, get due process, and then immediately be flown back home to their home countries. And their home countries are welcoming them. They're setting up loans for houses, they've got food assistance, they're helping to facilitate welcoming them home. I just got home from Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Honduras, and they're all excited about getting their individuals back home from the United States. So
and there is a lot of self-deporting. That's one thing I was actually surprised, but a lot of self-deporting. I flew over the Everglades. We did a little circle. I said, let me see. That's a big piece of land. It took us 25 minutes to fly around. Is there potential for enlargement or additional facilities out here?
There may be. I mean, I think what we're doing is, because this is an important part of Florida, we're using the existing footprint of this airport. So when you guys go over there, you'll see all the beds, the medical, the galley, everything is on the concrete. We're not using any of the other stuff. Now, as you'll see, there's a lot of concrete, so there very well may be. I know Secretary Noem and her team have said as soon as the president departs, we'll be open to start receiving folks. And so we'll see what the tempo is. We do have the 2,000 in Northeast Florida that will open very soon. So it is possible to do. One of the things I think that is exciting about this is we're offering up our National Guard and other folks in Florida to be deputized to be immigration judges. We're working with the Department of Justice for the approvals. I'm sure Pam will approve. But then I'll have a National Guard judge advocate here. Someone has a notice to appear. Biden would tell them to come back in 3 years and appear. Now you'll be able to appear in like a day or two, so they're not going to be detained, hopefully, for all that long. We'll have people here in this facility that can make, it's a bureaucracy. The president's got to deal with the bureaucracy. Now, that Supreme Court ruling was good because that's going to allow him to be able to exercise Article 2 the way founders intended, but you still have bureaucracy. So we want to cut through that so that we have an efficient operation between Florida and DHS to get the removal of these illegals done.
And are you
How many initially, Mr.
prioritizing
President?
going after the worst of the worst, or are you now arresting anyone who is here?
We're doing the worst of the worst always first.
Yes.
And I think it's great government, what we've done. And nobody can ever forget what this group of people, Biden or whoever it was, because you don't, it probably wasn't even Biden. I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing. But Biden, whoever it was, what this group of people, a small group that circled the Resolute desk, what they did to this country. Think of it, what your time, all the time you have to waste doing this. It's an unforced error. We had nothing. We had no problem with this. There was never anything like it's like an unforced error, yes.
Mr. President, in 2018, you suggested putting alligators in the Rio Grande to prevent crossings in Texas. Is this a dream come true for you, sir?
Well, I was thinking about that, I must say. It was meant more as a joke, but the more I thought of it, the more I liked it, if you want to know the truth. And they were serious. They were actually crocodiles. They were crocodiles from Africa. They are a step beyond. But no, that was really meant as a joke, but a lot of people liked it. And a lot of people think we should do it, frankly.
The Senate, it appears, is about to vote on
I
your
hear
big,
we're
beautiful
doing well,
bill.
Ron. I hear we're doing well.
Are you confident this can get
I
done
don't
by
know.
the 4th of
Confident.
July?
What does confident mean when you're like when you have one vote and you have 100 people going to vote? I think so. I think it's going to be the greatest bill ever passed, even for you as an example. Tremendous amount of Homeland Security money.
Oh,
tremendous amount. It's going to keep the border secure because we have them secure now, but we need to build more wall. I built almost 600 miles of wall. We need more wall. And all of that's covered in this bill. This bill is amazing for everybody. It's an amazing bill for Florida, too. Really great for Florida.
You heard the concerns about the Medicaid cuts, though, Mr.
No,
President.
we're not going to be playing with
An
Medicaid.
estimated
Only
11.8
waste, fraud, and
million
abuse.
Americans could lose
Yeah,
their
the
coverage. Are you
Democrats
breaking
have it
your
wrong.
promise?
Yeah. Waste, fraud, and abuse. In fact, if you look at what's gone on, we've gone way back. We take care of Medicaid. We take care of Medicare. They will blow Medicare and Medicaid because they have no idea what they're doing. Just like they don't have any idea what they did on the border, they have no idea. Medicaid is in big trouble with the Democrats.
So you can promise anyone who loses their health care coverage that is because of waste, fraud, and abuse?
Waste, fraud, only waste, fraud, and abuse, which is what everybody
Mr.
wants.
President, Russia has about 50,000 troops stationed outside of Sumy in Ukraine. What will you do if Russia authorizes an offensive?
We'll see what happens. I'm watching it very closely.
Mr. President? About Prime Minister Netanyahu's visit next week, what are you hoping to get out of that? And do you think there'll be any progress?
Well, it's going to be a very quick celebration. We had a great hit. It was a obliteration. Okay, now it turns out it was an obliteration. They demeaned CNN mostly and the New York Times, fake New York Times. They demeaned these great soldiers. They went over there 17 hours flying, and they hit bullseye after bullseye after bullseye. It all blew up. Everybody saw it. Then they get back, and CNN said, well, they did okay, but maybe it wasn't. Let me tell you, it was beyond obliteration. Nobody can even get down there. The tunnels are busted. Everything fell into the well. It was a total and complete obliteration, and we should celebrate these heroes. And what I'm doing is I'm bringing them, Ron, we're bringing them to Florida or to the White House. I gave them their choice. I think they're going to take the White House.
Probably.
I shouldn't tell you this.
Mr. President, there's going to be a new bill called Make American Elections Great Again.
I love it.
Forcing the U.S. Census Bureau to redo the census to actually get an account of how many Americans with proof of citizenship are in our area, in our country, redistricting some of the House districts. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I'll speak for both of us. We love it. Okay, you're going to like this one. I know all about it. We want to bring our elections back. The election in 2020 was rigged, millions and millions of votes. It had to do with COVID and a lot of things, but it really had to do with the crooked people. The Democrats are very good at cheating on elections. And that's why I said too big to rig. They tried this one too. But after about 9:02, they gave up too many votes. Too big to rig. Ron would love it. I would love it. Christie would love it. That's what they have to do. They have to bring it back. And we have to look, Ron, they include anybody that happens to be in your state.
Well, California would lose like 5 seats if they did a fair census. And even beyond that, the Biden census gypped Florida of at least one seat. We only got one seat in the last census. Are you trying to tell me that Florida only had one seat in that? We should have had at least two. Texas should have had another one. That could be the difference in the House of Representatives in the majority. So I would love for them to redo the census for 26. My legislature will redistrict those lines. We'll get it to where it's fair. But as it's right now, this country is not fairly apportioned. I've got so many more millions of people in Florida that have representation because of that flawed census.
Mr. President,
I think it's going to do very well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've heard about it, it's captivated the country. Everybody wants it. It's going to get in, it's going to pass, and we're going to be very happy.
Elon Musk is ripping into this bill again. Are you concerned that Republicans are going to be swayed by Musk and his money?
No, I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is Doge is going to look at Musk. And if Doge looks at Musk, we're going to save a fortune. Thank you very much, everybody. I don't think you should be playing that game with me.
Mr. President, July 9th tariff guideline.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
sticks, please come with me. All right, guys. I got it. Okay, guys, keep up. Keep up. Gotta go.
Nice.
We're moving. Where they will take.
All over again? Are we going in?
Yes, this is our medical center. So we're gonna. The president has invited the press to join.
Okay. This was on the schedule, right? Yes.
Yes, this
Are we
is
able
a
to
scheduled stop.
Can I do some audio here on that? Or not?
Alan, it'll be out. No, medical stop. Stop 2.
Oh, like
Yes, he has invited the press to join.
We're checking on that right now.
Right. Madison, would you mind hanging back to get with John to make the gets from
Yes, yeah, I was about to.
I got a lot of towers. I was just about to drop them too, and do AT&T, and then the president trashed them.
Opposed to standing around and not knowing where we are. And we're just taking tours through the areas where they stay and the areas where the medical is and all. And they've really done, between Christy and Ron and the whole group, it's really government working together. And congratulations to you two guys. But I wanted you to see it as opposed to waiting for us and then say, how was it, right? It really is pretty amazing. Did they take the vote yet? How's the vote doing? I would normally be home waiting for the vote.
Yes, we would.
Or be in Congress.
That's right.
But I wanted to come down and see. I hear the vote's going to be good. So you'll let me know. You'll let me know.
I will let
Have
you know.
they taken it yet?
What's that?
They're taking it now.
I don't think they're technical yet. Not concluded, but they are taken.
Boy, wouldn't that be an upset, huh?
Are you confident that this can get through the House? And is there any wiggle room on your July 4th?
It's the greatest tax cut in the history of our country. And if it doesn't pass, it's the biggest tax increase in the history of our country. That alone, 68% increase, as opposed to a massive cut. It's the biggest tax cut in the history of our country, and everybody gets it.
Mr. President and Madam Secretary, CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that. That's obstruction of law enforcement. Your response?
Yeah, we're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing we believe is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran. They were given totally false reports. who's totally obliterated, and our people have to be celebrated, not come home and say, what do you mean we didn't hit the target? We hit the target first. You know, the pilots came home and they said we hit the target first. So they may be very well prosecuted for that. What they did there we think is totally illegal. Okay, let's go. Follow us.
Okay, you got it.
Hi, Brian. You all right? The boys are very lucky. Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh, really?
You
Works for who?
He works for
Real America's Voice.
Oh, okay, good.
You think it's easy being with Marjorie?
You think I could take some heat?
She was working out pretty hard this
Yes,
weekend.
she was. Wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
One, though, right?
I would say so.
Right?
I was a little worried when they get my 1-year-old shot, but I didn't know any better.
You know, that particular thing with the kids is out of control.
Yeah.
Now, 1 in 32 versus 1 in 20,000 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Autism. So it was one, think of it, 1 in 20,000 20 years ago. Now it's, I heard 1 in 16 in California.
Yeah.
1 in 16.
But that's because they've been.
No, can you imagine? So there's something. I think Bobby's going to figure it out. So nice to see you.
Thank you for visiting
Yeah,
us
thank
down
you for
here.
visiting. This is our team, our pharmacist and our nurse practitioner, our two operating
How are you?
They actually did all the work. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you guys for doing this. Thank you for your partnership.
You had how many days to do it?
We actually just have 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yeah.
I was relentless.
This is like a monoclonal antibody clinic on steroids. We did the monoclonal in 24. By the time there was a new need, 16 hours later.
That was great. I've never done shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not like I would have been invited, but we were watching live streams and stuff like that. There was never anything like that.
Can you a little quicker, please? Right behind us. Can you please repeat?
He's walking. Here he comes, Brian. Huh? You left.
press. Let's keep going. Come on, guys.
Go, go.
Please run.
Run, press.
Run, I'm sorry. Keep up.
Come back towards me, or just straight back, as a matter of fact, not towards me, but straight back.
Yeah, hey, can you guys hear me in the studio?
What's that?
I hit my sorry. I'm just
What's he say? What's up? What's Ben saying?
Good, right?
Oh, wow, this is the actual ball.
Yeah, we were some pretty unruly kids.
See what I mean? It's an amazing job. They've all done a great job. Proud of them.
Mr. President, Mr. Governor, what's your message to Governor Gavin Newsom inside of this facility?
Well, the first thing you should do is come here and learn something, because they don't do this. They don't know. They wouldn't know where to begin, and if they did, it would cost them 100 times more. So I would say he should call the governor and Christie, and I'm sure you'd give him because his state is a disaster, and he doesn't do this.
Well, they have the original Alcatraz, so you guys could approve him being able to set one of these up over there. I'm sure the secretary would be happy to do that and provide. So my sense is he's probably not going to bite on that. But I don't know that they'd be able to come in at cost because they tried to do this high-speed rail. They spent like $150 billion, no tracks. We've got a privately funded rail in Florida from Miami to Orlando. It costs the taxpayers zero, and it's very successful. So it's just a much different approach between states.
We're not going to let him get anywhere near Alcatraz. It'll cost 100 times more than they thought. Now he ought to come here and study this because he could learn a lot. Yes.
Who's the first person checking into the room, sir?
Tomorrow.
Hopefully tomorrow, within the next 24 hours.
They have the doctors, they have all the professionals.
There's going to be a security sweep because there have been civilians here, so they will sweep this multiple times to make sure there's nothing can be used as weapons or any contraband. And then once that's cleared, then they'll do. So it's really up to Secretary. I know has got people in the queue, and so they'll be ready to receive.
I think our viewers at home should note that this is air-conditioned facility. So if any of the news claims are keeping them out in the hot, humid South Florida, that is wrong. It's probably 62 degrees here.
To be honest.
Or 72.
Hey, Biden wanted me in here. Okay, he wanted me. It didn't work out that way, but he wanted me in here. That son of a bitch.
What's your expectation what this will do for the speed and force of deportations?
A lot of things, and they're both telling me that these people come in here, they want to go home. And they want to go home, so we immediately send them home, where it's appropriate. Now, if somebody's a real killer, we don't send them anywhere. We put them in a maximum security. Look, what we inherited from this guy, this incompetent man, and his administration, which wasn't incompetent, it was radical left, lunatic, communist, whatever you want to say. I know most of them. What we inherited should never, ever be forgotten. What they've made us do. This is all because of an open border policy where 25 million people flowed in. From all over the world, from prisons, from all over the world they flowed in. For no reason whatsoever. We had, when I left, we had a very powerful border. We had no problem. He opened it up. Day one, he just opened the border and people couldn't believe it.
That's right.
They were standing there. What are they doing? They said, go in. That's it. You look at the first day tapes. They opened it up and they said, go in. And that's where all of this began. But this is an amazing thing that they've done here. Really
But listen, people don't have to come here. If they self-deport and go home, they can come back legally. We will let them come back legally.
And there is a lot of self-deportation.
But if you
People
wait
wouldn't
and
believe
we bring you to this facility, you don't ever get to come back to America. You don't get the chance to come back and be an American again and work here. So
They weren't with us when the President and the Secretary Kevin and I, we went through the intake. So right when you do the intake, they have the information about voluntary departure. They have the ability. Obviously, you guys are funding that because it's a lot cheaper to do it that way. So even if they get brought to the front doorstep here, they still have an opportunity to just go back voluntarily, and then this way they're not.
Let's say they get in here, they're like, hey, I want to stay here, I want to go back.
we could put them on a plane that day and take them home. We'll buy their plane ticket, go home, and then they get the chance to come back legally. If they wait and say we're not going to do that,
they can come back legally after a period.
Mr. President, you've talked recently about the idea of finding some way to get farm workforce and service sector workforce, and I think you've discussed somehow a program of people leaving on a sponsorship and coming right back. Can you give us a little more detail about that and why, in the view of some hardliners, it's not amnesty?
Take care of our farmers and hotel workers and various other people, and we're working on it right now, and Ron's going to be involved, and you're involved already. So we have a lot of cases where ICE will go into a farm, and these are guys working there for 10, 15 years, no problem. The farmers know them. We're going to put, it's called farmer responsibility or owner responsibility, where they're going to be largely responsible for these people. And they know these people. They've worked on the farms for 15 years, and all of a sudden so I have a great, Ron does, Christy does, we have a great feeling for the farmer and for others in the same position. And we're going to give them responsibility for people. And we're going to have a system of signing them up so they don't have to go. They can be here legally. They can pay taxes and everything else. They're not getting citizenship, but they get other things. And the farmers need them to do the work. Without those people, you're not going to be able to run your farm.
Mr. President, you and the governor tangled pretty hard in the 2024 election. Yet you stand here now. Yet you stand here now as partners on this effort. How would you describe the relationship, and what future does Governor DeSantis have?
I think it's a 10. Maybe 9-9, because there might be a couple of little wounds. So maybe it's 9-9. I think we have a 10. We get along great.
Well, the thing about it is, I endorsed him immediately in January 2024. I raised one of his PACs millions and millions of dollars, and obviously we saved him a lot of money in Florida because Florida was a deep red state. He didn't even have to do a rally in Florida, whereas 2016 and 20, this was like ground zero. And so we've been, really happy to do that. And then we've worked very well on this and other issues with Florida. And you can call him at any time, and he wants to be helpful for governors. I mean, I can tell you that. We did Hurricane Helene last year. You didn't hear from the president at the time then. But with President Trump, we know immediately. You just make the phone call.
Yeah, as a follow-up question, I'm sorry, like another thing you inherited. How firm are you going to be with Netanyahu about ending the war in Gaza?
Very firm, very firm. But he wants it too. I will say he's coming here next week. He wants to end it too. We had a tremendous success with Iran. They won't have me. Somebody said, "When are you going to sign?" I said, "Sign? They are so bombed out." Did you see the report issued this morning? The place was decimated. It'll be years before anybody even gets down there. So that's not a priority, but we'll have a report and we'll have whatever we want. We'll get whatever we want from Iran. And I think, and I hope they want to have a good country. They have massive sanctions right now, biting sanctions. It's going to be very hard for them to do anything with those sanctions. And I look forward to maybe there'll be a time when we get along with them and they can rebuild their country.
Is there a point where you tell Netanyahu, like, you got to end this now, you got to strike a deal?
Well, he wants to. I can tell you he wants to, and I think we'll have it. I think we'll have a deal next week. That's what I think.
Do you intend to announce your pick for successor to Jay Powell earlier than say, or as early as say this summer or this fall?
Will I do something about who it's going to be?
Yes.
I don't know. Hey, he'd be a good candidate. You might do him. She'd be a good candidate too. Anybody would be better than Jay Powell. No, he's causing us a fortune because he keeps the rate way up. I think it's Trump derangement syndrome personally, but we have a very strong country. We're the strongest country. Look, our country right now is at a level that we haven't seen for 40, 50 years. What we're doing now is nobody's seen anything like it. I told you, I was in the Middle East. The King of Saudi Arabia said to me very strongly, he said, "You know what? A year ago you had a dead country. Now you have the hottest country in the world." We do. We have the hottest country in the world. Thank you very much.
When are we going to see that exemption for farmers? And what about other
We'll be seeing it over the next couple of
years. What about construction and other
industries? Also, those type of industries.
Will Kilmore Abrego Garcia be the first inmate here?